Hey, what's going on, guys? Heads here from Infinity Loops, and welcome back. Today we are taking a look at a new product from our friends over at Happymodel, as well as some new products from HDZero. Very exciting products, I might add. Here is the Happymodel Mob6 Freestyle HD Bind and Fly. That's awesome and very exciting. However, within this Bind and Fly is something else very exciting. The Lux camera by HDZero, which is brand new, as well as the brand new first ever HDZero all-in-one flight controller. I've been told that this is going to retail for $199 for the Bind and Fly. I believe you can pre-order now and they are ready to ship October 18th. This is a sub 20 gram 65 millimeter whoop. The Freestyle edition I have here comes with 0702 28,000 kV motors. Those 0702 motors are spinning tri-blade ultralight HQ 31 millimeter props, and it is recommended that you fly this on a 300 milliamp 1S battery. The canopy included on the Freestyle is a bit different than the Race Edition, which is also available now. I don't have the Race Edition here, but I've looked up the pictures of it, and I do see that they have a different camera, the Eco from HDZero, which is a different size than the Lux, so I'm assuming the canopies are different for that reason. However, the canopy this one came with is pretty fragile. I broke it fairly quickly. However, again, I've also heard that that is not going to be an issue for the production model that you will get when you pre-order these and they ship on the 18th of October. You will be getting the newer canopy that is made out of a stronger material, and I have been told is way more durable than the one that I have on this. Now that that part is out of the way, we can talk a little bit about the flight controller and the camera, both of which are new products from HDZero. The first would be the Runcam Lux camera. Some key features about this would be the wide dynamic range, the sharper image, better low light performance, as well as oversampling going from 1080p to 720. There is no MIPI cable to fuss with on this. It's just your 4 wires from camera to board. It has been optimized for a 4:3 aspect ratio. However, for people like me, you can do 16:9 with just a reduced vertical field of view. Seeing that this has been out for a few days, I don't really need to go into too much detail about the flight controller or the camera, because I'm sure you've probably already heard this info. It's also readily available. I'll leave links down below on HDZero's website, where you can find out all kinds of nitty-gritty details that you might be interested in with these two new products in here. I will mention something, however, that I didn't see mentioned too often, and that would be the target that you would flash this flight controller with in case you wanted to update your Betaflight or maybe switch over to Quicksilver. If you're going to be using Betaflight, you're going to be using the Crazy Beef 4SX 1280 target, and if you're using Quicksilver, you will be using the Crazy Bee F4 ELRS target. And just so you know, I did flash the flight controller with the latest version of Betaflight as well as the latest version of Quicksilver, both of which were working fine. Couldn't really get a great tune out of Betaflight, probably more of a me issue, if anything, more of a skill issue on my part, but you'll see some flight footage where there's some little bobbles and wiggles here and there, and depending on what I'm doing. Take that with a grain of salt. It might not be on the production model, the one that finally ships. This was an early look. So everything that I say, flights that you see, all of that, just take it all with a grain of salt. Things subject to change, basically. Now that's enough out of me. Let's go see how the HDZ performs in FPV. First, I gotta have a Wii. Well, I hope you enjoyed that flight. That was half the Mobilus 6 Freestyle, which was listed down there at the bottom if you missed it. And then the other half was done on the Fractal75 after I kind of got fed up with the 65mm flights. I personally am just not a big fan of 65mm flights in general, so nothing against the Bind and Fly or Happymodel or HDZero, just not for me. I flipped everything over into a Fractal 75. To do that, it is very simple. If you're using the Lux camera, I would just recommend that you snip your ducts here in the front. You don't necessarily have to do the back. I just kind of did it to satisfy my OCD, but the ducts push in on the sides of the camera and it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit great. So just removing a quarter section of your duct. Do not remove the struts underneath, just the little like half moon piece there on the edge, just a quarter, and that'll give you plenty of room to fit the camera. You can remove the back ones as well. As I've heard people say, you don't crash from the center. So having the center rings there and it's not gonna make any difference. As far as installing this flight controller in a Fractal frame, that was fairly simple. I think as long as you have the right hardware at home, it'll be easy, but what I needed was taller grommets to lift the flight controller up off of the deck of the Carbon. That was because I have to mount the flight controller upside down, and the update port as well as the UFL antenna were right in the way of the Carbon. So now they are about 1/8 of an inch or so off of the Carbon, and it flies great. There's no rattling around, no tapping of the Carbon or anything. I've put tons of packs through this already. I've had a blast with it. It flies really well. I have the 25,000 kV 0802 1.5mm motor shaft wonky nip motors on here. That is a collaboration between myself and Fractal Engineering. And that was it. Everything else about the build was fairly straightforward. The camera sits in there really well. Actually, one thing I may change is I didn't even think to look through the menu for the camera to see if I could flip the image, but I put the camera in the way it had it in the Bind and Fly, and the wires are actually on the bottom of the camera. Now I have it so it's not sitting on the frame, they're just on the bottom. There's enough room for them. It's just a little snug, and it would actually look a lot cleaner if I flipped it over, twisted the wires, and ran them straight to the flight controller that way, and then just flipped the image in the menu. Now, as far as flight times are concerned, with the Bind and Fly Mobilus 6 Freestyle HD, I was getting around 2 to 2.5 minutes of flight time. That is with 28,000 kV motors, an HD system on board, and I was using 300 milliamp lava packs. Once I swapped over to this, I was using 450 milliamp lava packs, and I was getting around 3.5 to 4 minutes of flight time. And I mean, this handles wonderfully on this. The build overall, once it's been put into the fractal frame, what I have here is 25.4 grams. That was after cutting the little bit of the ducts off. If you're curious, that was a little under a half a gram lost. So overall, to sum it all up, I am extremely impressed with what HDZero has managed to do here. This is the first of its kind. This is huge for the micro FPV community. This is like tip of the iceberg kind of thing. We can only improve from here and get lighter and better from here. So I'm really excited that HDZero is willing to put in the work and innovate the way that they are. I also wanted to extend a thank you to HDZero, Ryan in particular, for reaching out in DMs and offering to send me the Mob6 6. I do appreciate that. It was really cool and really fun to check out. Sorry I broke it kind of quickly, but I did have a chance to fly it enough to give my opinions on it, and then basically just took the important parts of it and put it into a fractal frame. Still the same flight controller, same camera, different motors, but I'm happier with the way it flies personally, so this is like dream HDZero build for me right now. This is as good as it gets. And that will do it for the Happymodel Mob6 HDZero Freestyle Edition. The Race Edition is currently available, and I'll leave a link down below where you can order that. However, this will be shipping next month on October 18th. Now, if you want to pre-order it, you can do that now. I'll leave a link down below in the description where you can do that. All of these are not affiliate links. I'll also leave a link for the flight controller as well as the camera if you want to look into those as well. The Race Edition does not come with the Lux camera. It will include the flight controller, but no Lux camera. That comes with the Eco. Make sure to leave a comment down below if you ordered one of these for yourself, if you've already received yours, how do you like it? If it's on the way, what are you excited for about it? If you didn't order one, why not? What's the beef with what they've done this time, and how can they improve in the future? I'm sure they would love to hear if you have any suggestions. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Take care of yourselves, and we will see you in the next one.